Hello, and today I'm going to be showing you something really cool that I'm really proud of and I think is really cool. So we're just going to call this Jet Boots for YouTube. Creative, yep, default, create world. I created a new one command block creation, and this one is Jet Boots in vanilla Minecraft. And I'm sure you can tell since I'm in the Snapshot 15W31C. This is the day 15W31C came out, I think. It's Friday currently. On Wednesday was when 15W31A came out. Then B came out on Thursday, and now it's Friday. And I got the C snapshot. So pretty much, there's a new levitation potion effect, which if you're not aware with what it is, it's effect blah 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 levitation, and it makes you rise slowly for however many seconds you have it for. So I've taken advantage of that. Also, part of what inspired me to make this was I saw on Nope Name's channel and Dragnoz's channel that they both have videos that if you affect yourself with levitation and it's like 254, you're gonna slowly sink down. If it's 255, you're gonna stay where you are. So using that, I have created Jet Boots in vanilla Minecraft, and now you can probably tell how this is going to work. There are a few different, it's a lot more complex than just levitation potion effects, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So I'm going to jump straight into it and show you how it all works. So the first thing you're going to want to do is give yourself a command block, place it down, and open it up, and paste in the command, which I will have on the Planet Minecraft page, which I'll link in the video description. Now, once you have this command, you're going to want to paste it into the command block, click done, and grab yourself any kind of way to power it, preferably a button or a piece of redstone, and then you're going to place it down, and very quickly it's going to create the Jet Boots module. And now you have it. So the first thing you're going to need to do, by the way, you can right-click this sign to destroy. First thing you're going to want to do is get some repeaters, 2 repeaters, a comparator, 2 blaze rods, and some golden boots. Then what you do is you throw them on the ground in the same block together, and it will create yourself some jet boots. Look up to rise, look down to float, and look ahead to float, and look down to descend. Requires flight controllers. So you can put them on and everything. You can even go into survival, but you can't do anything with them. Oh yeah, and also they're unbreakable. So you've got half a half a armor bar forever, and you never have to worry about it going away. Isn't that fancy? So you got that. And so the next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to make the flight controller. So for that, you're going to need an Eye of Ender. I'm going to get 2, and I'll tell you why in just a second. You're going to need a redstone torch. And finally, you're going to need a compass. So what you do is you throw the compass, redstone torch, and Eye of Ender on the ground, and it'll give you a flight controller. Put this in your offhand to use, so, you know, right here, or replace with Ender Eye to save flight. Type requires jet boots. So I've got both of the things I need to make this work. So what this means is if I put it into my offhand and I'm wearing the jet boots, I can fly around and everything, but I can also use an Eye of Ender instead with the jet boots. And that way I can save whatever flight type I'm doing. So for example, if I'm wanting to fly up and I want to look down while I'm flying up, well, with the flight controller I can't do that. But if I use an Ender, if I go to the flight controller, look up, then switch to Ender Eye and look down, I'll still keep going up and yet I'll be able to look down. So hard to explain, but you'll see in a moment what I mean by that. So now the last thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get yourself some fire charges. Fire charges are the fuel for it. One fire charge will give you 30 seconds of flight. The first thing you do is equip the jet boots. Put these in a slot you're able to use them in. Make sure you can see the fire charges, or at least you keep track of them, because you do not want to run out of fuel in the middle of jet packing or jet booting yourself around. So first thing I'm gonna do is equip the flight controller, and you'll notice there's a whole bunch of sounds, and if I look up, I start to rise. So I can also look straight ahead, and I just float where I am, and I can look down to very slowly descend. Alternatively, if I want to get down, I can just dequip the flight controller and then equip it right before I hit the ground. Now, of everything you could possibly do, the last thing you want to do is dequip your jetpack or flight controller or run out of fuel in the middle of the air, because it doesn't really matter how high you are, you're most likely going to die. So if I do game rule keep inventory true just so that I can demonstrate this, so normally you would not die from this height, but if I dequip it, I fall down and I die. And the reason for that is that every time you fall, it adds up the distance you've fallen. And so it's very easy to die with this. So the way to fix that is, as you've noticed, you have jump boost. And so pretty much if you just let yourself naturally float down, just look down and float down, you'll hit the ground, but because you have jump boost like 255, you'll be fine. So if I de-equip the flight controller while I'm on the ground, no problem whatsoever. I'm completely fine. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you land. You do not want to stop flying in the middle of the air, because if you don't start flying before you hit the ground, you will die no matter what. Alternatively, if you do want to do it that bad, one thing you can do is go over water. And if you go over water, you'll fall into the water and no harm done. But just make sure that you land naturally and touch down before you run out of fuel or de-equip the flight control. Now, back to what I was saying about the Ender Eye. If I go ahead and fly up, alright, so I've flown up a little bit, and now I'm going to stay kind of stationary. I'm going to turn down my master volume. Actually, a little bit more. So if I switch to an Eye of Ender, and I now look down, nothing's gonna happen. I'm not gonna start going down. If I look up, I'm not gonna go up. So pretty much the Ender Eye is pretty much like a flight controller, but you can't change whether you go up or down. So if I go ahead and change back to the flight controller and look down and then switch to the Ender Eye, it doesn't matter where I look, I'll constantly be going down. So the Ender Eye is very useful. You can swap between the flight controller and Ender Eye however you like. So this is helpful for building. So if you wanted to build something and be able to fly while you do it, what you do is you go stationary, switch to the Ender Eye, and then build to your heart's content. And so long as you don't run out of fire charges, you can just stay stationary. And then if I re-equip the flight controller, I can, look back down, I can look up, equip the Ender Eye, and I'll constantly be going up. I won't be able to stop it unless I re-equip the flight controller. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and descend a little bit. So I'm going to go touch down real quick. And yeah. And then of course you de-equip it from your offhand, and it will completely turn off. Even if you're wearing them, it's completely fine. I think it'll still work if you enchant the boots, so you could give them something like Protection 4 and everything. Just make sure you don't give them an unbreaking enchantment, because there's no point to doing that since they're, unbreakable. It literally says it right there. And so you can also you can give yourself like a diamond sword, and you can actually fight stuff. So if I time set night summon, or I don't need to even summon anything. So so if I just wait for some mobs to spawn. Come on, mobs. Yep, normal. So mobs should be spawning soon. And yeah, there's a spider. So I can actually. Oh, I dropped it. When I was first testing this, I dropped it a lot. So if I equip it and look up, I can still fight and everything, and can still use tools in my normal hand perfectly fine. It's just, you just got to make sure that your offhand is fine. I can't see because of the smoke. Okay, there he is. So I just killed him, you know, in the middle of the air. And so you can build, you can fight, you can shoot with bows, you can do all that stuff. Just a reminder before I end the recording. You can, if you're not holding something with a right-click ability like a sword, if I just have an empty hand and I right-click, let me fly over to the water. If I just right-click, it will throw the Eye of Ender, and then there goes my Eye of Ender, and I'll have to use the flight controller, and it's very easy for you to die that way. I don't know, if you're watching this in the future, I can't guarantee that this will work for future versions. So if it does not work, just make sure you play on 15W31C, and everything should be good. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.